In a bit of a surprising story coming out of Quebec, there was a big jiu-jitsu tournament that was supposed to be going on over the weekend, the UAE Canada Pro National Championship. And last second, it got cut out by Quebec, or by the government. This is a very misguided decision by the government, and it's one that you would hope doesn't have an effect on MMA, but it could. So they had a ban on striking arts and striking sports, and for whatever reason, maybe someone told them that jiu-jitsu involves strikes. It obviously doesn't. It's purely grappling. Slams can happen, but they're illegal within the rule set, so it's not supposed to happen. The obvious thing that people like to talk about with Quebec and strikes is, well, if you're not going to allow a grappling tournament, how are you okay with hockey? Now, a couple things with that. First off, obviously you're not going to win an argument like that about Canada banning hockey or Quebec banning hockey. Obviously it's gigantic in Montreal. It's gigantic in the nation. And really on top of that, if you're looking at the sport itself, you had the Penguins and Flyers game over the weekend in Heinz Field. There was a little bit of a skirmish or a fight between Dale Weiss and Chris Kunitz. The skirmish there had no effect on the game. The game's decided on goals. It's decided on who scores more. Generally, shot counts matter a lot more, where they call it Corsi. Fighting, or the fist fight part, doesn't really have any effect on it. So this ban is more specifically to combat sports. Hockey, though there is combat in it, is not a combat sport. But still, their decision to ban jiu-jitsu for the meantime, it seems to be a case where it's mostly affecting tournaments. So the schools out there, the places where people train, are still going to be open. So it's not like they're putting a bunch of people out of business. But to ban tournaments, it's a big issue. And again, the UFC's had some problems in the past. They've kind of been able to use their size to work their way into Canada and work their way into some of these tougher markets where MMA in the past had been banned. You would hope that this issue with the jiu-jitsu tournament isn't going to expand MMA. You'd also hope that the officials are going to come to their senses and realize that jiu-jitsu is not a striking combat sport. And really, even if it was, there's really no good reason why it should be banned in the first place. This is something that can be safely regulated. It is safely regulated across the world. Canada, you would figure, being in North America, should be able to be up to date on this, be a little bit more progressive. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to cancel this jiu-jitsu tournament last second. It was set up for a while. And again, the thing that I see with law is if you're going to take something that was legal originally and make it illegal, you should have a very good reason why, and you should have a great understanding of why you're doing it. And if they're going to ban jiu-jitsu on the grounds that it's a striking martial art or it's a martial art with strikes involved, it shows that they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't have a clear understanding of the sport, and that they're legislating from a point of ignorance. And that's a big problem for Canada. That's a big problem for Quebec, and that's something that they need to get taken care of. As far as the jiu-jitsu tournament goes, I had a training partner who went up to Canada to train out there. Obviously, he's upset that he doesn't get to compete in that tournament, but he got to train while he was out there. He found some local gyms to train with. He went back home. Obviously, the trip wasn't what he wanted it to be, but the sport will move on. Jiu-jitsu will be fine, but you don't like seeing that. It's not a good look for the sport of jiu-jitsu. It's not a good look for Quebec, and it's not going to be good for MMA when they try to, especially smaller MMA organizations, when they try to work their way into Quebec. So I would hope that they are able to fix that very soon and not have this issue anymore.